so active, I gotta tell you. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Viva Cafe con Leche with Margarita and Lori. I am Dr. Lori Monaco of Align Yourself, Inc. I am a transformational and mindfulness coach and speaker and a badass Buddha. And my beautiful co-host.
Hola, buenos días, namaste. Here is La Margarita coming to you from, it's kind of muggy today. It was muggy. It was like 100 degrees yesterday and raining, but it's a beautiful morning. This is the Gladiator Guru. Good morning, buenos dias. Let's have some conversation with Viva Cafe con Leche.
And we forgot to say where we're from. Oh, you said it, right? I didn't say it. I'm coming from Connecticut. And it was hot and humid over the weekend, but last 2 days have been stunning, like absolutely sunny, and the no humidity. There has been this wind, and I think today's supposed to get hotter, but I'm not complaining. I always say that because I don't want to complain about, we get so tired of the cold, and then we're complaining about the cold, and then it gets too hot, and then we complain about the heat, and it's just, you can't win. So I don't want to be that person.
You really can't, because when I was back home in Connecticut this winter, it was freezing, maybe because I've been in Florida for 13 years, and I hated it. I felt like an old lady. I didn't leave the house because it was so cold, and if I did go out, I had to turn the car on and run back in the house for like 5-10 minutes. And I was looking forward to coming back to Florida, to the heat. And then yesterday it was so hot, like oven, like you ever open the oven and put your head in there. It's like that, and I didn't go out.
I often open the oven and put my head in it.
So I didn't go out anywhere. I didn't want to go out because
she's a little slow this morning. So
yes, anyway, it's disgusting. So, but as humans, we're gonna always find something to complain about. And I guess I'm just a 4-season kind of chick, and I'm going to complain every season because I'll be looking forward to the next one.
Why am I not finding us this morning? Oh, there we go. Finally, I found us. Hey, Sam is watching. Good morning, Samantha. So how is the weather over where you are? She is in a beautiful area, so I'm curious to see what she says, how the weather's doing. She's over in the Virgin Islands, coming to us from the Virgin Islands. So it'd be great to get a shout out, find out how that is. And I'm sorry, both of us are off sorts today with some technical difficulties starting off. Margarita has not had that much. She hasn't had her coffee yet. She's tired. I've had sips of my coffee. I don't know what the hell my problem is. I wasn't tired. I didn't go to bed real late last night. So I'm a little bit out of it this morning, but we are getting back on track. You always get us back on track. We love doing this show, and it starts our day off well, and we're hoping that it starts your day off well. And because this show is designed to set intentions, right, Margie? And it's to create your day, help you create your day. So if you started off slow, or if you're watching this later in the day and you're having kind of a yucky kind of day, then hopefully you'll watch this and you'll feel better, and you'll feel more empowered and more inspired, because that is the point of this show. And we also want to make it interactive with you. So make sure that you post where you're from in the comments section. If you have questions, please make sure you put those in there. And also take a picture of your coffee mug, right, Margie? And message it to us or post it on the Facebook page, and put the hashtag, I don't know why I can't get it in my head. Hashtag Taza de Cafe Challenge, TAZADE, for those of you that can't spell in Spanish. Taza de Cafe Challenge, hashtag first. And also hashtag Viva Cafe con Leche, right? So, and we have prizes coming. Margie's working on it, bless her, so she's doing that. And we will have picked some winners. Anything else, my dear? What else do you want to say?
Everybody there to put on where are you from, and shout outs to each other, to us, where you're from. Please comment, share. I also here, as Lori said, Taza de Café, hashtag Taza de Café challenge is here. And
your coffee mug. Wait, hold it up. I liked it. What does it say? Think positive.
yes, and we choose different coffee mugs. It says think positive and great things will happen. And
I
I
love
don't like
it.
that, like
I
hitting
like
it. And what are you drinking? You know, what the whole thing, Viva Cafe con Leche, is about café con leche or café solo or no tea.
Karen Marie, good morning, Karen Marie. Karen Marie says, you ladies look marvelous. Que bonita. I'll take it. That's, this is not easy work to be like this so early in the morning, especially when some of us don't get that much sleep, right? Right, Margie? I mean, this is,
Like I've said other shows ago, I'm a night owl and an early bird, which makes me an exhausted pigeon. I can't go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and be here talking with you at 8. Well, someone would say they can't, but here I am.
because she loves it. She wants to be here. So see, that's proof positive, right? You're coming here, going to bed at the wee hours of the morning and getting up just a few hours later to be here. And so that you can be present and that you can give your gifts to everybody for this hour that we have together. And that means a lot. That means something.
Well, I think that that'll lead into our segue for what today is, because sometimes we have to stretch ourselves just a bit more. Not that I tend to go to bed at 4 o'clock every night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I just had some things that I had to tie up. And then I was up earlier than wanted this morning. But again, the show is Viva Cafe con Leche, right? It's about real talk. It's about laughter. It's about Lori.
Love.
I guess she hasn't taken enough sips. So, and it's about what does coffee do for you? What's your ritual with your first morning cup of coffee? Even if I oversleep then I'll wake up with a headache because my body's already used to having its caffeine at a certain time. And yes, I am addicted to caffeine. Obviously, I'm addicted to my coffee. No problems there. Yesterday, I realized that the day before yesterday, I only had 1 cup of coffee the whole day. And then I wondered why I had a headache, right? You don't think about it when you're busy doing so much. But yeah, so our show, it's about cafe. It's about what is it that brings you to coffee talk. You know, what when you invite people over, we talked about how it's a select few that you make your coffee for, that you actually share your first cup of coffee with every morning. What are you drinking? Bustelo, Pilon, El Morro, Yaucano, New Hampshire. Doesn't matter. But we'd like to know that. And we want to be part of that intricate little part of your lives when we share Viva Cafe con Leche. So make sure to put it in the comments. Send us your selfies or post your selfies and tag us and tag hashtag Taza de Café Challenge and hashtag Viva Cafe con Leche, because we do want to know. We care. We love you. We want to know what the hell are you drinking. No decaf, people. So.
No, you could be on if you're decaf.
So we said, where's everybody from? Please put in the comments. Francia, buenos dias. Miggy, buenos dias. Those are the two that have shown up on my end.
And Carmen's on too. Good morning, Carmen.
Carmencita. So inspiration. What is the purpose of this show? It is to see the beauty of the world. Set the mood by setting your intentions and set it with peace, with calmness, with beauty. Surround yourself with beauty, even if you're standing in the middle of your yard and you're looking at the green leaves, at the thickness and security of the foundation of the trunk of the tree, of the birds singing. Look for some beauty because it is everywhere we are. We just have to open our ears, close our eyes, and breathe in. Beauty is all around us. Beauty is the sound of our heartbeat. if we take the time to listen. And that music is forever playing within us.
That's beautiful, honey. That's really beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. So spread love, spread laughter, be the ambassador of your environment, which leads us into today's topic, which is
Compassion.
compassion. So be the ambassador of your environment by being compassionate. Go ahead, Lori.
You know, you brought up such a really good point. You were talking about there's beauty in everything. And I believe that one of the most notable people that's been quoted saying that, Mother Teresa, like they used to, right, they've asked her like how you could go day to day, every single day walking through Calcutta, right? I think she was in Calcutta. But the streets of India with all that horrible, the sight of the poverty, the level of poverty and garbage and all this like horrible, what anybody else would look and say, this is so horrible. And she saw so much beauty, and that's why she stayed and she did what she did, you know, and you can see beauty. You can see beauty within yourself. We talked about that already. And that never gets old, talking about inner beauty when we can't see it within ourselves. But it's even outside. So you can look outside and you go, my God, this neighborhood is terrible. And I live in a horrible house. And find the beauty, because if you could see beyond it, right? So what Margie was saying is, you know, close your eyes and listen. And then look also, when you open your eyes, like see beyond, see the beauty within there. That opens our hearts up to allow for that compassion to come in. Because if you can't, right, I would think so, Margie, if you can't see beauty, then you can't really open up to compassion either, because compassion is being without judgment, and beauty is being, if you can't see it, you're being judgmental. You are going into that headspace. So this is like opening yourself up and seeing beyond what you could see, seeing beyond what's in front of you, looking deeper into it.
Yes. But I think that's what compassion is. It's something from within, because as we spoke about outside beauty, especially for humans, is so fleeting. But if you're confused as to what's beautiful, just, you know, stand in your yard again. It's so much freedom to just stand somewhere in the middle of a city, but you can stand and look at the leaves and the trees around you and the flowers and just sway with them. And it's just so easy to find beauty in even the most ugliest thing, because beauty begins with you. And like they say, God is everywhere. No, God is not that God is everywhere. It's that God is in everything.
Yes.
So there's nothing you cannot see beauty in. There's only things that you will not see the beauty in.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. If you look for the bad, if you look for the ugly, if you look for the deceitful, I could keep going on with all the negative stuff. If you look for that, you find it. It's the law of attraction, like it's there. That's all you will see. If you're coming from those type of eyes, from that mindset, you'll see it, right? What's always the expression that they say, like if you see things that really are better than what they are, they say you're looking through rose-colored glasses. That's the expression is, and people will say that in a very derogatory way, that, oh, you know, you're not even paying attention to what's really in front of you. This is the bad stuff in front of you. You're looking through the world with rose-colored glasses. I'm fine with that. You know, when you're looking for beauty, when you're looking through with a compassionate heart, I think the problem comes in is that people think that if you're compassionate, you're weak. So we're going to talk about that this morning, because we're going to talk about what does it mean to be compassionate, how to live a life of compassion, the benefits and challenges of living a life of compassion, and are there levels of compassion? Mm-hmm. So you have some definitions on compassion, right? You have some stuff written down that you want to share?
Yeah, I want to share something Carmen said.
You want to shout out to a couple people before we go?
Yes, well, Carmen signed on to mine. Good morning, Carmen. Francia, she's on her way to work. Good morning, Reina. So Carmen says that Henry Thoreau said, it's not what you are looking at that matters, it's what you see. And that's what Teresa taught us when she looked at all of the mayhem and the chaos and the filth. and only saw the beauty of the heartbeat standing within it, amongst it.
He's one of my favorite authors too. I love Thoreau.
So,
I want to say hi to Lin Lin. Lin Lin said, "Good morning, ladies. You are the first beauties of my day. Thanks." Oh, Lin Lin, thank you for that. That's beautiful.
thank you.
Appreciate that. And Monica Figueroa. Good morning, Monica. Glad you're here. So go ahead, Margie. What do you want to? So what do you have for us today?
It's like it all starts with being the ambassador of your environment, right? Because sometimes you, like I say, you can be surrounded by such negative people, and it'll only take you to not even say, oh, but look at that, it's beautiful, but just go hug the tree or smell the flower with such desire of compassion that something so beautiful grows and smells so pleasant, right? So compassion, Prince said, compassion is an action word with no boundaries. And that's what you just do. You just do, and it's never keeping score, and it's something that never gets old, and it's something that your heart never tires of, right? That's how I'm going to take this little quote. So compassion is so often the solution for everything. For everything, bad day, bad tempers, just looking at everything. Someone comes up to you with a compassionate tone, with a gesture, it can change your day in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, it shifts you. Yes. Yeah.
So the compassion of one eases the suffering of many. You saw that too. You brought up Mother Teresa, that's one. So be kind. If you can be kind, even in your worst day, you probably put 1,000 smiles on people.
Yes.
Even on your worst day, by just being kind, because there's no price on kind. Like, you know, when you smile, when you're walking down the street and you know nobody, but you're smiling, and you lock eyes with somebody walking the opposite direction. And they always say you never know whose life you save by saying hello or just smiling like out of the blue into the crowd. Like so many people with those thoughts. It was years ago. I can't even remember, but they said like, they read something, I believe, where somebody acknowledged that they were walking down the street and somebody smiled and said good morning, and it saved their lives because they were on their way to commit suicide somewhere. So you never know. Like kindness is just, it's just so many folds of it, and it's volumes and it's waves, and it's as big as an ocean for one little person. So what does it mean to be compassionate, Lori? Tell us.
Well, one of the big key elements, right, is love. Like if you love, trusting, letting go, no judgment. And if you walk around, like if you're literally walking through the city, like you said, and you say hi to people and you smile at people, but you're coming from a place of love, and you share it, meaning that if you're walking by the person in the suit, or if you're walking by the person that's delivering the package, or if you're walking by the homeless person that's sitting on the street, that you feel the exact same way about all of them, that they are human and that they all are beautiful. They all have a story. And you may not agree with their choices, but that's not yours. That's not for you to say. In other words, if that individual asks for money, you know, we make an assumption that, you know, this person's a bum, they're, you know, whatever, they're going to go use it to buy drugs, which could be the case, who knows, but we assume that the person sitting on the street is this low life individual, yet the individual, which is a judgment, yet the individual that's walking by all dressed in the suit is, you know, very impressive. Oh my goodness, you know, this person, and then he goes home and beats his family, you know, and we make assumptions, we make judgments, so compassion means that you have to find the beauty in everybody and in yourself, right? So true compassion also starts within ourselves. We can't be truly compassionate to other people unless we also are compassionate to ourselves. And right, and
they say you have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah,
you need it as much as anyone else in the universe. And you're right, it starts within us. It'll be like a facade if we're miserable and angry. and then we're pretending to be compassionate and be kind to somebody, but it's just a fleeting moment and it's not sincere. And I think we can feel sincerity when it comes to compassion. I think the person who's receiving the fake compassion can feel it. I think it's an energy you feel when somebody's coming at you, because I felt people doing that. What I'm saying is, you talk about judgment, but you can feel it's a gift that we all have. We can feel. So if you're going to be compassionate, be it with all of your heart. I guess that's what I want to portray today, because people, not by keeping score, just be compassionate, because we need it. We deserve it as much as anyone else. So in order for you to give it freely, you have to feel it entirely.
Yes. You have to live it. I mean, compassion is not just, you don't just say, oh, I'm a compassionate individual. So let's talk about that for a minute, because, and I want to say Lillian's on. Good morning, Lillian, and Ruthie's on.
Hola, Tina. Go ahead.
There's how to live a life of compassion. Let's talk about the benefits and the challenges. So the benefits, I mean, if you're really truly living a life of compassion, you feel phenomenal, right? I know right? You could agree to that, Margie. I mean, it's just when you leave your house and you're walking out saying and feeling and knowing and believing and owning that you are a compassionate individual, you see your world differently, at everybody differently. And the moment you start to go back into that headspace where the judgment comes in, you could step back and catch yourself and be aware of it and say, okay, you know what, this is coming from a different place. I'm supposed to be coming from a place of compassion. How can I be compassionate with this situation right now? And you feel good in the end, because compassion is about love. It's about being happy. It's about being grounded and connected. It's everything that's mindful, really. I mean, compassion is an element of mindfulness, but it's also like the gratitude piece. Like, I'm grateful to be in the place that I am mentally and emotionally. I'm grateful to be around the people that I'm around. And that allows me to open my heart a lot more and be even more compassionate. And then the more open and more heartfelt I am, the better I feel about myself. You know, I don't feel out of control, right? I'm not just giving it out, and I'm not doing it without some sort of boundary. Mm-hmm. I feel like I exude it, right? You ever feel that way, Margie, where the energy just like comes off of you when you're walking, being somewhere? What do you think?
Yes. I feel my energy when it's with me, hugging me, making me feel goosebumpy. I feel it when I share it, and I feel it when someone tries to take it from me. My energy is like my heartbeat. And a lot of people don't pay attention to their energy, so they're just giving it away. And then they wonder why they're exhausted at the end of the day. Or they allow people to suck it out from their big toe. And then they wonder why they're tired, right? So yeah, so compassion. When it comes to compassion, you know, I'm a very compassionate person. Doesn't mean I'm like that with everybody I meet, because since you brought it in, I also go by the vibes of the energy of the person that's in front of me. And to be gifted and feel someone's energy instantly that's right in front of me, it's like, you know, you save your compassion, or it just doesn't even show up when it comes to that, because energy is also very important for you to make sure you maintain it. And your compassion is something you give, right? But your energy is your energy. And that's a big difference. People want to be compassionate, they mistake it, and they give to the wrong causes, or they give not realizing what they're giving. It's a thin line if you want to.
Or they give for the wrong reason. They give to fulfill something that's lacking within them. And that's not compassion, actually. You could say that you're compassionate, but if you're giving for the wrong reasons, then you're not coming from a fully compassionate place. Okay, actually, let me say let me take that back. I'm not saying it's not compassionate. So I wrote on here that, are there levels of compassion? So really, technically, there are. You know, you can live a life you could say that I'm a compassionate individual, but there's a certain amount of compassion that you will give out, and overall you're very compassionate, but there's still things that you hold back. Like you were saying that you will be compassionate to people, but if they don't have the right energy, you're not going to be compassionate to them.
Me being compassionate and me being a fool are two totally different things. And although what I give, I don't expect back, and this is a real talk show, so I will give the shirt off my back to whomever I meet that is in need, and I will share my bounties with them. Even if I just have 3 crackers, we're gonna have 1.5 crackers each. I will do that. And then you have the other, and for those who know me know, and then you have, that's a person whose energy doesn't have to match mine, but their energy is glowing. You know, and when I say compassion for somebody, like you said, and thank you so much for bringing that analogy up, because that is so important for people to hear, where the homeless person or the person with their sign saying they're hungry is no less than the one walking by you in the 3-piece suit and the Rolex watch, who can be the biggest asshole you run into, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so compassion and your energies, you know, you have to also guard it. You have to guard it. You have to protect it. You don't want to keep pouring and empty your cup of all your energies and compassion to someone who's not deserving of it, or who's just using it, right? So I believe, yes, me, I will give you the shirt off my back. You need, I got you. You are the totally negative side with me. I don't care who you are or how you bleed. So that's my compassionate Margarita. I am very balanced with that.
Well, I think what it is I think that you can be very compassionate, but after a point you understand who's open to the compassion.
Don't take advantage of the person who wants to help you rise, who will give you a hand up and help you rise to your occasion, because all of our destinies are different, right? But if you have genuine compassion and you see somebody, then you're not giving them a handout. You're not picking them up from the ground. You're helping them rise up to their full potential towards their own destiny. That I can do for anyone who is genuine all day, and my cup will runneth over with more to come for those that I see, right? Because that, to me, that's my destiny, is to be that vessel for people. But and then at the negative side, because this is a real talk show, we can't just always talk about, you know, daisies and sunshines and sunflowers. We got to talk about those nasty weeds that are going to pop up and grow out the concrete with that rose, right? So that's what it is. It's about having that compassion and sharing that love and expanding your energy and making the world a better place by being a teacher for those who can't see or value who you are. But it doesn't mean you have to break your bank to help them see, because we all should be able to see it. Good morning, Tiffany, my beautiful daughter, Nancy Harding. Better late than never. Welcome. Namaste. So go ahead. I know you have other stuff there, but I just, you know what, because people like, oh, people are being fake when they're so good. It's not about being fake. It's about being loyal to yourself and to God, who wakes you up every morning, right? But God also gives us free will, and we cannot blame the other person for being who they are. We have to observe, we have to feel our energies, and we have to act accordingly. And not everybody deserves our energies. Not everybody will receive our compassion and pay it forward. They'll just take it to take it. So again, you just have to be observant and be who you are and be kind across the board. And with that kindness comes your insight as to who's who. Dale.
Yeah, and I think that, again, it is about the boundary, because when you were saying that if you have negative people and they're taking advantage and you've offered, compassion means that you just walk away. You don't tear the,
you don't do damage.
I gave you this advice, you didn't take it, blah, blah, blah. You just kindly look at them and say, this is what I'm offering, and this is what I've offered, and I'm moving on now. That's the boundary, is that you can't take it from me anymore. And I love leaving the space open, because sometimes people are really weird, and they just, at that moment in their life, that's who they are. And they might be that bloodsucker. They might be that person that just sucks energy. But that doesn't mean they'll always be that person. And so that's the thing with compassion, is that when you're setting the boundary for people, you're telling people that this is what you can be, this is what you can become. And if you choose that way, it's your choice. So you sort of walk away, and then you leave that space open for that person to make that change and become that compassionate individual. Because I think most people who are not compassionate, they're afraid. They're fearful of being considered weak, like I said before, or that they'll be taken advantage of, or they won't be able to fight for things. Listen, you could be very compassionate but still fight for things, you know. But it's what you're coming from a place of love and saying that this is who I am. And I mean, I think of the great people in the world, like in history, who were so true to themselves, but loving and very non-judgmental, but very true to their belief and very compassionate. And how many people really like push them down, like, you know, Jesus Christ, Gandhi, you know, like Nelson Mandela, like all these people who just they pushed them down, but then they still rose above it because they were true to their heart, and they didn't let the negative stuff take over them. They didn't let it change them. They just kept going straight forward with who they were and sharing that and getting people to be that way as well.
Because that was their purpose. That was their purpose. And you know what? Compassionate, it is for me, I'm going to speak from my part, to feel deeply for another soul. Any soul and every soul that I meet, as they experience the ups and downs in life. And whether I'm going through my ups and downs in life, if I don't believe in coincidence, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that we are placed on every road in our lives because it was our destiny. It's maktub. It's been written. I believe that. So like I said, I give everybody an A when I meet them. But it is not my responsibility if they fuck it up at the end of the day. Because I gave you an A when I met you, because that is my destiny. That is my purpose in life. And how they handle it is up to them. But everybody does. Everybody does have their ups and downs. And I might meet someone at their worst moment. I don't judge them, but I will treat them accordingly. That means that in that particular moment in their life and mine, when we met, whether they were up or down at that moment, it was supposed to happen at that precise moment. So whatever I was supposed to teach, whatever I said, whatever I did, was a seed that needed to be planted in that person's life. Now, mind you, a month, a year later, they're a totally different, opposite person from when I met them. And it might have been the seed that I planted, but it doesn't mean I have to interact with them ever again, because destiny just takes you in many different directions. And I don't judge people, and I don't hate people. I don't have to like you, but I will never hate you, because I love love. So in that part, I'm fine. I'm fine if I meet someone who's had an ugly episode in their lives and I met them, I'm still going to smile. I'm still going to tell them this too shall pass. Trust the process. Breathe and keep it moving. Doesn't mean I have to be in their life, nor they have to be in mine. It was that initial moment of contact that we did was a purposeful one, was a destined one. And whatever happened will set the mode for that person to grow from then on, from our experience. And for myself too. Because every ugly person you meet in this world is teaching you how not to be. And every beautiful soul you meet in this world is teaching you how to add a piece of heaven to your life by every person you meet in that way. So you don't never lose by meeting a light or dark soul. You learn. Everything to me is a learning process. So I welcome it. Am I going to be compassionate and kind and smile and laugh to everyone I meet? Absolutely, whether they deserve it or not, because that's not for me to judge.
Right.
That's compassion.
And that's, I think that's the most challenging thing for people to understand about being compassionate. To be compassionate, you have to equally be compassionate to everybody. So
Everything across the board.
that, and not that I'm not, we were really, Margie and I had a meeting on this. We changed what we were going to talk about for this week because of everything that's going on in the world. So we're not going to be very specific on stuff because we want to be very generic about things. We do support things. So not saying that we are not supporting, but so this week is going to be about compassion. Even our Thursday conversations is part 1 and part 2 with our guests. Being compassionate means that you have to be compassionate across the board. That means that you have to look at 2 sides of things and you have to find compassion in both sides. And I think that's the biggest challenge for people is to be compassionate across the board. I'll take I'll use one example of a hot issue that people have. And so like our president, for instance, Trump, you know, you either like him or you hate him. There's like no in between.
There really isn't with him.
No, there's no in between, but true compassion means that you have to find compassion in an individual like that. So if you like the person, that's easy. If you don't like the person, then you still have to come from a compassionate heart. So that's, I think, the biggest challenge for people is they don't want to do that. They're not necessarily willing. They're willing to be compassionate to specific situations and things and people, but it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's limited, you know. And I got to tell you, for me, and I view myself as a very compassionate individual. I really do. I live that. I walk that. I believe in that, and I hold myself to that. But even I struggle with that because I catch myself all the time out in public, being somewhere or watching something on TV. And I question it when something comes up and a judgment comes in my head. I become aware of it and I question it and I say, okay, where's this coming from? Where's this coming from my head? Is this coming from my experiences, my thoughts? Is this really coming from my heart? What am I supposed to be learning from this? Why am I saying that individual does not deserve compassion? You know, and because that's the way it works. That's why there's levels of it, you know. Is it possible to be compassionate to an individual as a pedophile? I mean, that's what we're talking about, because when you think about Mother Teresa, when you think about the Dalai Lama, these are individuals who they were compassionate no matter what. But it might be their purpose specifically, you know. For the rest of us, can we truly be 100% compassionate? You know, can we be equally compassionate to every single person out there?
Of course not. Of course not. We'll be lying to ourselves and to everybody.
Right. I agree with you.
We're human. And okay, you brought up the pedophilia, right? And we're quick to judge them for what they've done. And then, but if you were to pull back layers and you say, well, what happened to this pedophile? What happened to him as a child? But we don't allow ourselves to think back, well, maybe this person was violated by someone close to the family, you know, for years. And then something clicked, and then this is what became of them. Doesn't excuse their behavior, especially me coming from my background of being molested and raped. So if you look
as a child. Yeah.
And then you see how you didn't turn out. But then again, I think for me, and anybody can chime in. Good morning, Iritza. George, good morning. If anybody can chime in, I think that you brought up a good point. Don't be fake with your compassion, because we're humans. You know, we're going to have our moments where we're just going to say, you know what? With number 45, I'm like, what the hell? Like, he needs to find Jesus. You know, like, what the hell is wrong with number 45? But you know why? Because I don't understand a man in his position.
I had to think for a second. Number 45. He's the 45th president. That's, how nice is that?
Because I don't understand him and comprehend him holding that office and being and saying and acting. I don't understand. So when like, what the fuck, right? So then what happens? You start judging because I don't understand. And then I'm like, you know what? He needs Jesus. Jesus, please help him, because I don't, like, you can't. The pedophiles, what do you do? I mean, unless you're in a situation, when I first got to Florida, I got a job as a thrift store manager and I'm excited, and I go to interview, and it was for working with individuals who had capacity issues, who were of that, and at first I didn't want to take the job, not because of what they were, what they've done, how they were categorized by society, but because I didn't want to impose my judgment of my experience onto them, even though they had the same title, right? And that was my biggest fear.
That was insightful, though. Not a lot of people have that insight to say it in that way. So that was actually quite. That was actually very very cool, very knowledgeable.
And when I went back for my second interview, that is exactly what I told the person interviewing me, that because of my experience and my everything, how I felt for years, all of that, I didn't want to put any judgment on their actions because they were foreign to me in that area. They were just fell under the same umbrella. So, I obviously I took the job, and you get to meet them on a one-on-one level, and you know what they've done. But I sat with them, and whatever capacity, mental capacity they had, they all differed. But you built I didn't judge them for what their past was. And it was a beautiful thing. And people would say, how could you work? When people found out that I worked for that population, how could you do that? Because I can. And that's something that I didn't think about until right now we're having this conversation. It's like, wow, now I'm thinking, I'm hearing, and I'm like, wow, it happened. And I'm so grateful that I did get to experience that for over 5 years, because it taught me about judgment. It taught me that no matter what people have done in their past, it does not, that is not all you should see. You should see the person. You should listen to their heartbeat. You could view their actions and how they are one-on-one. And that's how I've always been with people, but not this population. So yes, be compassionate, but be compassionate because it's born within you, not because you read it, not because the Dalai Lama said it, not because Buddha has quotes on it, or what's the name you said? Or Mother Teresa, because you can't be who else is. You have to be who you are and what you have. And if you're short on something, then learn about it and see if it's something that you have to wake up within you. Because we all have it. Just are you capable to wake it up within you and be
I like what you said about your truth, because if real great, wonderful, beautiful compassion means that you're honest with yourself too, that if you can't handle something. So like if you want to live a life of compassion and be a compassionate individual, and you come across a situation where you're struggling to find the compassion, then you have to honor that, and you have to be truthful about that, and maybe even say that to the individual, that if somebody comes into your life that you're struggling to be compassionate with, that you say to them, I struggle with this. Like, I view myself and I live my life in a compassionate way, and I'm finding it very challenging to be compassionate with you. And as a result, I have to really separate myself from you, because I don't want to compromise who I am. And so maybe that's part of it too, is creating a separation from an individual. Like, I'll give you an example of this, and this is a really personal example. I struggle with a family member. I view myself as a very compassionate individual, and I strive every single day to be more and more compassionate. And when I'm challenged with individuals that come into my world, that the compassion, like, it tests my ability to be compassionate, I get very angry, and I get angry at myself, and I get angry at the person, and I get angry at the situation, and then I end up feeling really lousy. Like, then I go through this sort of like like withdrawal, like a hangover of, oh my God, you know, I behaved a certain way and that was so not compassionate. And I'm like a hypocrite, you know? And so I've decided that the only way for me to deal with this particular individual is to just not deal with the individual, to separate myself from them, because I don't agree with their choices, because it involves children, and I don't agree with how they live their life. But who am I to say? So I choose to just stay separated from that individual so that I don't compromise me. I don't compromise myself, who I've worked so hard to become, because I do tend to switch back into that other person that I used to be when they're around me. And so, you know, and I don't think it's a bad thing that I separate myself. The individual does. The individual gets pissed off about it and has voiced it to other people. But that's my way of guarding my compassion, because I struggle with being compassionate to that particular individual. So maybe, and maybe at some point in my life, I will be so enlightened, I will get to a level where I will feel more compassionate to that individual. I'm more compassionate, I hate to admit it, but I'm more compassionate to individuals who are a victim of circumstance, you know, like that the reason they've sort of made choices in their life have to do with maybe more horrific circumstances. But when a person chooses to hurt other people or do things for their own selfishness, I'm less compassionate for them. And so again, you know, I struggle with that, because I don't want to be that person. I want to be a very loving, open individual, obviously guarded with boundaries. But so I choose to stay away from those people, like, you know, remove myself from that presence so that I can still be true to myself.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, everybody has a certain way of how they protect themselves, right? Everybody puts on, you know, that Vaseline, that raincoat. They protect themselves. And, you know, some people just don't deal with them. Again, I love love. I love meeting new people because I love to test myself. And if I feel that, you know, like you said, you stay away from certain individuals that just don't get it. You know, you can't fix stupid. That's one. And two is, you know what? I'll stay away from you, but you're gonna know why. Like, I'll tell somebody, you know what? Your negativity is disrupting my energy space right now, and that's it. You got to go. And I think for me, I tried all different ways of how to handle people, and for my spirit, the best way is to be raw with them, because then there's no mistake that they're gonna come back into my life with that attitude.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they can determine, do they want me in their life with my attitude? Because, you know, you're the badass Buddha. I'm the gladiator guru, which means I am war and I am peace.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel with the badass Buddha.
How you want to be in my life, because as a gladiator, there's no fear. There's no fear. And I have to protect my energy space. I have to protect my ozone layer. You can't just come in, especially if I made myself very clear from the beginning. And that's me being compassionate with you. I'm sharing compassion with you. I'm sharing that this is my boundaries. I will give you whatever it is you need, but just don't cross it. Because I am the gladiator guru in every sense of the word. Great rising to you, primo. My cousin Dearest is online. Welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. But I think that with that, because that's just compassion, I don't want to say, we're not Jesus. We're not Jesus Christ, who walked this earth in grace and glory. And he was a great leader. And for some reason, I think every human before and after him has failed miserably. We do the best we can with what we have.
I don't think every human. I think there's some very amazing people out there. Like Martin Luther King was one, but I think just more human. That's it. They're just
Jesus, though. Nobody measures.
No, but you know what's interesting about that, and that's a whole nother conversation. You know, I think that Jesus was more human than we you know, believe him to be too. And I think there were times where he questioned, you know.
He did.
You
When
get
he was
stones
before,
thrown at you so many times where you start to say, okay, this is enough, you know. But I think what we learned from all of them is the fact that their number one thing was love. Their number one thing was always love. It was always, if you, I have love to offer, and I know this is the way you are too, because I feel it with you. I have love to offer. I have love to give you. If you are going to receive it in any other way other than pure love, then I'm going to move on. Then I'm going to move on. And I will hold the space for you, and you can follow me, and you can walk beside me, but I'm not battling you. Like, I'm not going to battle you for this, that this is me. If you don't agree with what I have to say, if you don't agree with what I have to offer, then I'm moving on. You know, if if you see a homeless person and you opt to give them money, that's your choice. If you decide I want to give them something, you can give them anything. You could sit down with them and have a conversation.
absolutely.
You could buy them food. You could buy them a cup of coffee. You could buy them a book. You could ask them, say, what is it that you need? And if they say, well, I need money, say, okay. And if you're worried that maybe they're going to use that money to buy drugs, say,
Business. But that's not your business. If you worry about giving a homeless person or any person who has a cup or a sign money because your first thought is, oh, what they're going to use it on, then you're not a compassionate person. If you're going to give, you give with no question. And I hear that all the fucking time, and it drives me crazy. I'm a good person. I help the homeless. I help this. And then they say, oh, but I'm not going to give them money. I'll buy them food, but I'm not going to give them money because they're going to. That's not your business. Then don't give, because you're not giving for a place of love. And I say this with so much passion. And for those who know me and my cousin who's on, is because my father was on drugs and my father was an alcoholic. And I gave him money. I'd rather give money than have them be so desperate that they're sick or whatever. And it is not my call. Once it's in my heart to give, let me tell you, I keep change. You can ask anybody that I know. I keep change in singles. And I'm a broke bitch in my car. And you know what? I don't give to every single person I see, because you have to have judgment. There's some people out there scamming, but you know when there's people. And I give because people they don't want you to buy them food all the time. People like don't trust that. And I'm not yelling at you, Lori. What I'm saying is that I hear that from my own family sometimes. And I look at them and it's like, are we in the same family with the same dilemmas of drug addiction and alcoholism? And you're really going to judge a stranger about what they're going to do with the dollar you're going to give them? Keep your dollar. Keep your dollar. Because that is total judgment. And a pastor or priest, I don't remember, did what we're talking about. He dressed up for a week like a homeless person begging right by the church. Because he wanted to test the people from his church, whatever they're called. And then on Sunday, he sat at the bottom steps of the church, and his congregation looked at him like, ugh, and walked into church. The pastor walked in and told them what he did, what test he did to the people from his congregation.
Oh,
Not be both. You cannot be both. You cannot be a compassionate, giving, non-judgmental person and then question what the homeless person is going to do with your damn dollar. And thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of people need to understand that. If you're going to give, coño. Give from your heart. But don't judge those people, because we're all one paycheck away from being homeless. Good morning and welcome. Viva Cafe con Leche. We're talking about compassion, but that's compassion. I am a passionate compassion.
That is passion. That is passion, actually.
Yes. Yes, that's what I said. I'm a passionate, compassionate individual.
And so we're at the end. And
no, we're not. Are you serious?
Yeah, we are at the end. So we will be continuing this conversation on Thursday. I just want to share one quote, but then I want you to talk about what's coming up on Wednesday, and then we got to jump off. So I have a lot of quotes that we could share on Thursday, but one specifically from Dalai Lama, I thought this was really great, was love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. And that is absolutely true. You know, we can't, you can see it, because that's the reason we are in the state that we're in, is because we are not loving and being compassionate to each other. And while it sounds like a very simple fix, you know, sometimes things are that simple. The hard part is just the change. That's the hard part, is changing our mindset.
But okay, so right now you are very calm. You're very peaceful, and I thank you for that because I am the ocean in a raindrop, and I
So
have
pathetic. I
many
love all that stuff.
emotions and passions. So I thank you for being calm. You're always such a calm and peaceful person. And I love that our audience gets to see the two sides of compassion today. Because just because I might be a voiceful and share my opinions with so much candela, it doesn't mean that because she's calm, we are different individuals in how we expressed it. And Lori is also, don't think she's not a fireball because she is. But I love that we have this platform to show you that it's okay to be you. Just have a kind heart, have kindness, have that genuine kind smile and share it with the world. And you know what? Have your opinions and follow your heart. Don't follow the masses because the M is silent sometimes. And just be kind and be gentle with yourself and with everyone that comes in your energy space, because that's what you're meant to do. So with that, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Lillian Maldonado and Francia Rodriguez are hosting another book reading for me. So we will be on Wednesday at 7. I'll share it as a watch party on my page. And come and listen to more of Soul Searching for Peace, a book of tears shed in print. My beautiful, beautiful baby. Go ahead, Lori, because I know we have to leave.
I know we got to go because I got a client. So again, Thursday will be our part 2 with our guest. We don't know who the guest is yet, but we're not quite sure.
Guys.
But it'll be somebody. So if any of you out there want to hang out with us on Thursday and be part of the conversation, literally in the Zoom, and you want to talk about compassion, whether you need to be more compassionate and that's why you want to come out, or you feel that you're a very compassionate individual, reach out to us and come on, and we would love to have you. In the meantime, though, we will see you Thursday morning. Take pictures of your coffee mugs. Send them to us with the hashtag Taza Cafe con Leche Challenge, okay? And right, did I say that right? I always question it.
Taza de Cafe.
Taza de Cafe Challenge, that's right. I'm getting our 2 hashtags mixed up. Anyway, so we gotta run. We love you. Thank you so much for coming on today. And remember, be you, be real, be extraordinary.
And remember, breathe in the beauty all around you, mi gente. And breathe out the bullshit that's unnecessary. Be kind, be compassionate, be a giver, be love.
Yes. We'll see you Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.